Everyone. In today's tutorial, I will show you how to turn a logo from 2D through 3D, and today's logo is going to be this one. I've created this in Illustrator, and right now it's just a vector file, and I will use my asset export to export it as a SVG. So if you're an illustrator or you created a logo, just go to Window and open your asset export, and then you can just drag the logo in here, making sure to group it with Command G, and then press SVG and export it. So I already did that process, so we can go ahead and open Blender. I'm gonna click General and make a new file. Delete everything with X and delete, and I will turn on my shortcuts so you can see what I'm doing. So start shortcuts, and it's going to be in the center. First thing I'm going to do is go to File, Import, and go to SVG, Scalable Vector Graphic, and I'll go look for the folder I need. And select the SVG file. Now you can either drag like this, but as you can see, sometimes you don't grab all the files, so you can just shift and select all these elements and then press S and enlarge. And now to flip it straight, I'm gonna click on RX90, and I'm gonna press 1 on my numpad to put camera view like in the front. So I have different pieces here, so let's grab the star and just move it over. Click on the right click on the mouse and set origin to geometry so that we can move it from the center. Same thing here, I'm gonna set origin to geometry, and I want to combine these with Control L, and I want to make sure they're not touching each other, otherwise it creates an issue. I set Control L, but it's actually Control J, and I'm going to set origin to geometry. And then this one, I'm going to just slightly move the H from the P, cool, and I'm going to put them together, Control J, and then right click, set origin to geometry. Now I will click this and just go to material and take out the default material, and same for this and the other ones. Gonna push these back, just deleting. Deleting the default material. So we got our logo, so now it's time to extrude it. I'm gonna go to the curve setting, put this to 20, which is the resolution. Go to geometry and put 0.005 and see how that looks. Pretty good. Same for this, 0.005, and I will put this to 20. Now, before going on and editing this text, I want to create a copy of this just in case something goes wrong and I want to have my curve or original file, because we're going to be transforming this into a mesh. So I'm going to press Shift D and duplicate and put it on the side, and just put it outside in another collection. So I'll just hide this one and keep the one I'm working on currently. So next thing I want to do is duplicate this, Shift D, and press Y so that it moves on the Y axis. And I'm gonna add some outline by increasing the depth. I would suggest do 0.001, might be too thin, so you could try 0.002 and increase this to 10. Okay, and looks good. Okay, I'm gonna do the same for this. Shift D, Y, I'm gonna put 10 and 0.002. Let's see if it works. Okay, here there's like a weird thing going on. If this happens to you, if there's any problems with the outline when you increase the depth, you go to edit mode and you can just fix it like this by moving one of the curve, like one of the points. It's kind of like a pen tool in a sense. I'm gonna decrease the size of this because it's touching too much, and I probably put this to 116, so like 1/6, so it's a thinner outline. Same for this, I will do 17. All right, so that's done, and I'm gonna go ahead and do the star, and I'll extrude to 0.002, actually a little more. I'll go for 3. 0.03003, and I'll just move it backwards, and then I'll extrude the little bits and pieces here. Oh, I need to bring the resolution to 20. So I'm gonna do 0.001. That looks good. 0.001 and 0.001. 0.001. Oh, I meant 1. And I'll just push it in so that it touches the star. Great, so now we can kind of move it here. Another thing we can do is duplicate this and add kind of like an outline. Close this one. And so we can give an outline to the star, and I'm gonna go to depth and put 0.001. That looks good. And the same for this. Okay, perfect. So the next step would be starting to remesh our logo. So what we would do is convert each shape into an object instead of being a curve. So this is currently a curve. And then we would start remeshing everything so that the topology is great. All right, so let's start by selecting everything and right click and convert to mesh. And now I'm going to select the first piece of logo, and we're going to look for a modifier called Remesh. So basically the Remesh modifier, the lower you go with the voxel size, the more resolution you give. Basically it's like the size of the pixels. So if a pixel is really big, it's going to be grainy. The more pixels you have, the better the resolution is going to be. So you want to go down this number. I usually go 0.0009, but you kind of see which one looks best. So let's try with 0.0009. As you can see, it's creating too much pixelation. I'm gonna try 0.0005. That's much better. It doesn't matter if it's not perfect because we're gonna smooth it out later on, but I want to go down a little more, and I'll do 3. That's good. So I'm gonna apply the same thing to these. I'm okay if the outline touches each other because I'm gonna smooth it out and it's gonna be like one piece basically. Let's see, now we got this star to do, so remesh 0.0002, let's say. And the star. So now we all have this remesh modifier in each layer basically, and we want to apply this as well so that we can convert everything into a mesh. I'm gonna turn this to 3 actually. All right, so I'm gonna select everything and then convert to mesh, which basically applies the remesh. So if I click, I don't have it anymore, it's applied. So if I go to edit mode, you can see that now the topology is squares. Before it was more like vectors kind of thing. So I'm going to select everything again and shade smooth. So right click, shade smooth. As you can see, we get rid of a little bit of this pixelated vibe. But now to really smooth everything out, we want to go to sculpt mode, smooth, get the smooth brush, increase the radius, the strength 0.6, it's fine, and just smooth everything out. So it's gonna smooth out only the layer selected. Let's do this one. So I'm okay with keeping it pretty strong for the outlines, but when it comes to the logo, I'm gonna start going a little lighter because I don't want to lose definition too much. So I'll go a little piece by piece. Click here and let's do and now we do the star. So you can see how much better it is when we go with the sculpt, with the smooth brush on these elements. Kind of changes everything. This is our last one. All right. Cool, so the sculpting and prepping of the logo, it's done. Next thing I'm going to do is start adding some lighting, and I am going to go to render view and I'm gonna go to cycles. It's already looking better. And let's add some lighting. So I'm gonna do Shift A and add an area light. I'm gonna rank this up to 800. I'm gonna put it to disk. I'm gonna press 3 on my numpad and rotate. Put it in the back, then press 7 and put it on the side and scale it up. And then duplicate with Shift D and R to rotate everything. Then 7 again, so we can see the top view. And kind of press R to rotate and G to move. I'm gonna duplicate this again and have it at the bottom, so we have some light coming up from the bottom. Stretch it, go to 3. And yeah, just and now we need a top light as well, so I'll just duplicate this one down here and I'll make it 500. Decrease the radius. I don't want it to be too strong because I don't want to lose the depth and flatten it too much. So press 3 to see the direction. All right, cool. That looks good. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Next step would be to add some materials. And I'm gonna go to my shader editor and add a new material. Let's make this red. And the roughness down a little bit, but not too much. And I'm actually going to add a color ramp next to here, and now it's going to become gray because we would need to choose the colors right here. And then I'm going to press Ctrl T and this will pop up. This is called a node wrangler. Basically, by clicking Ctrl T while selecting one of these, you immediately get these two or these three depending on what you're clicking it to. And to activate it, you just need to go to edit mode and then look for node wrangler, which is this one, and activate it. Otherwise you can do it manually, and I'm going to connect these two and just delete the image. So this is the texture coordinate. It's really important because it allows us to control the position of the gradient. I'm going to unwrap this first, so I'll do edit mode, A to select everything, U to unwrap, and Smart UV project. Let's see if, okay, it's already looking better. I'm gonna change the colors to the red I picked earlier. To like a darker red. Okay, cool. Yeah, so like this. And I also want to add some grain to this text. So do Shift A and add a bump. Oops, wrong. Shift A and add a bump, which I will connect the normal to the normal. And then I will look for a noise texture and connect the factor to the height. I'm going to go to preview material. And if I scale this, you can see it's kind of giving a texture. And I'm going to make it really high and then bring the strength down. Okay, and see what that looks like. It's a little too large. I wish I could go more up. I guess it has to do with the object. Let's try to do Control A and apply all transform and set origin to geometry. And I think that worked. So I applied the location. I did Control A and you apply the location, rotation, and scale, all transforms. And that allows you to have a proper sizing here. So I can actually turn it down. Yeah, this is like just enough that it kind of has some sort of texture. Maybe a little higher. Great. Let me apply the same material, and as you can see, it's reacting differently. It's much bigger, and this is because we didn't apply location, transformation, all that. I'm gonna save before this crashes and I'm done. So cool. So the first thing I'm gonna do is edit mode, U, smart UV project. And then I'm going to do Control A and all transforms, and then I'll set origin. Oops. And then I'm going to set origin to geometry. And that's good to go. Regarding the gradient, I actually want to add another one, maybe right here. Oh, it's showing up right here. Well, to control basically what's going on in with the gradient, you kind of have to mess around with these values. So either you change the way the texture is applied to the object. So here is an object, which you would have to change these. You can try different ones if the effect you are looking for is not achieved. I do like the UV one, but sometimes it's like doesn't show all the colors, so I try to move these slightly. Let's color the star with this texture, but I'm gonna duplicate it, call this yellow, and I will change it to yellow. And delete this. Okay. And I'm gonna press Control A in edit mode, A, and smart UV project. Pretty much added the same color, but. And I will add a yellow here as well. For the outline, I'm gonna duplicate the original one and maybe just do kind of like purple. Okay, and I'm going to Control A and apply all transforms and set origin to geometry. And this one, maybe we can try to play with the metallic value and keep the roughness not too low. I mean, not too high. No, not too low. And then apply here as well. So once you apply to different objects, you can actually just control the color and change it where it needs to be changed. Even blue, it's nice. Black, metallic, and the roughness down. Let's see what we can do to this. Could also be everything metallic. That's not bad. And I'm gonna increase this to 600. Yeah, so not too bad. I am going to select all these and Control A, all transform. Accidentally click I liked. So Control A, all transform, set origin to geometry. And here we have our logo. So to export this, you can click one on your numpad and then Control A and add a camera. Press G, move the camera. And then I'm gonna press 0 and I'm gonna go on camera view. It's black, probably inside the text. So I'm gonna go to view and click on camera to view and just scroll away. To have a more like not such like distorting effect, you can increase the focal length of your camera. So if you put like 90 and then roll away, it's more flat. Or you can do orthographic, which basically you can change the distance here, but it's like completely flat. And then you would just do render an image, but first make sure these values are good. So I would probably do 400. You can put a time limit, so something like maybe 4 minutes. And the size here, you want to increase it. You can hold and scroll down so you can increase them both without changing the proportions. And then you can render. So I hope this was useful and see you in the next tutorial.